I'm Jonathan Cummings. Welcome to the Troubadour's Journey.
Don't you die with your song still in you, just sing with me.
If you're watching this video is the first video on this YouTube channel. It's the introductory video. And I would ask you just to bear through just this one video, and then you're going to know if this is something that's right for you or if it's not right for you. Let me just tell you a little bit about me before we get started. I don't want to tell you a whole lot about me. That's for another video, but just a little bit. A few years ago, less than a decade ago actually, I was sitting in a cubicle engineering ventilation systems for boats and yachts. And while I was sitting in that cubicle, what was going through my mind is, I don't want to be engineering ventilation systems for boats and yachts. I want to grow my hair out and play rock music for thousands of people and make lots of money. Now, as unrealistic as that sounds, that was my dream. That was my song that was in me. You know, the tagline for the Troubadour's Journey is, don't die with your song still in you. I don't know what your song is. Your song might be to write that book that you've always thought about or start your own business. My song happens to be song, so I'm very fortunate in that way. But here's a picture of me just a few years later, actually performing in front of 1,200 people and making more money than I've ever made in my entire life. And here's the point of this video that I really want you to think about. If you talk to people back in those days when I was sitting in that cubicle working for that company, and I wasn't making bad money, I was making about $72,000 a year. But if I told them that what I really want to do is pursue a music career, pursue a life in the music career, they laughed at me. As a matter of fact, the woman that I had been with for many years, when I told her the amount of money that I wanted to make in the music business, she laughed at me. And here's the real point of this. If you talk to the people that I know now, when I talk to the people that I know now, that I associate with now, that I'm in the music business with now, when I tell them, hey, you know, just a few years ago, I was sitting in a cubicle designing engine room ventilation systems for boats and yachts, they laugh at me. And the reason that it elicits that type of response is because there is a giant chasm between who I was then and who I am now. And I would submit to you now that this entire YouTube channel, that this entire Troubadour's journey or concept, that's what this is really about. It's about getting from where you are now to where you dream of being, and doing it in a way to where you're not trying to make it happen, but you're taking who you want to be and making that a part of who you actually are. If you're watching this video, you probably have listened to and read books by Dr. Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, Tony Robbins, Stephen Covey, and the list goes on and on and on. And those are the people that I wish I had an opportunity to give them my debt of gratitude. I never got to thank Dr. Wayne Dyer before he passed away. I never got to thank Stephen Covey before he passed away. Tony Robbins and Deepak Chopra, they're still up in the air. At some point, I've got to write them an email and tell them what an incredible impact they've had on my life. Because these are the people that are the modern day gurus, the modern day teachers. And I would suggest that you get involved in those and other people like them. But the one thing I want to tell you now is a lot of the information you're going to hear on this channel doesn't come from Dr. Wayne Dyer or Deepak Chopra or Tony Robbins or Carlos Castaneda or whoever you want to come up with. A lot of the information you're going to hear here is going to be new information. And the reason that I can say that is because the information you're going to hear, a lot of it, some of it does come from those people I mentioned, but a lot of the core information comes from this guy. This guy never wrote a book. He never gave a public talk. He never did any of that. So the information that he gave to me through my life has not been distributed to the world. which is what I am trying to do here. This man happens to be my father, in case you didn't guess that already. He's 88 years old. He's married to my mother, who's 87 years old. And as of the making of this video, they still walk around holding hands. And if I have a performance at the local theater, they get tickets and come to that performance. They've been married for 70 years, 70 years. And a lot of the information that I want to give to you comes from him. So just a few more points before we leave this video. This is not a war or a battle or anything like that. This is a journey. This is the Troubadour's journey. And just to give you a preview of what's to come, a lot of people talk about programming yourself for success, installing new habits and beliefs, uploading new information. They're trying to treat your brain as if it is a computer. And I would suggest to you that you can't do any of those things because your brain is not a computer. That's the fact. That is just the fact of the matter. Your brain is made up of carbon and iron and different kind of trace elements. Now you might argue, well, yeah, but it has synapses that fire and it's kind of like a computer. No, we built the computer in our image. It's not the other way around. We don't need to start looking at our brain in the computer's image. So what I want to suggest, and this is what we're going to go into when we go into the 1919 principle. The first 4 playlists on this YouTube channel are going to be, the first one is going to be something that I call the 1919 principle. And we're going to get into a lot of that. The second one is something that I call the TIP, T-I-P, which is simply an acronym for talent, idea, or passion. Every human being has one of those 3 things or a combination thereof. The third thing is something that I call the code, and that really comes down to our code of conduct. And then the fourth one is something that I call the authenticity factor. And those 4 cornerstones or pillars, if you will, is the foundation of the Troubadour's journey that we're going to build everything else on top of. But rather than looking at your brain as a computer, during the 1919 principle, we're going to talk about it more like a part of nature. Instead of installing new beliefs and uploading new things, we're going to talk about planting new habits and beliefs, watering them, giving them fertilizers, and then allowing them to grow. Because I can virtually guarantee you that your competitors, if you have competitors, they're looking for the 5 easy steps for this, the 3 quick ways to success, the 10 steps to rocket your career. And that is not what this channel is about. If your competitors are doing all that, how about you do something different? How about you look at really planting, watering, fertilizing, giving something sunlight, and letting it grow so that your competitors, where they may be ahead in the short run, in the long run, you're going to exceed them by mountains, if you just look at your brain and your heart and your body in a new way. It's actually an ancient way, but when you're talking to today's people, it's a new way. And we're going to talk a lot about that in the 1919 principle. I hope that you join me on this journey. If you decide not to, that's fine, because my goal is not to get 100,000 subscribers real quick. That violates everything that the Troubadour's journey is about. I want people who watch this information and who like it and who relate to it and who try it out and use it and who benefit from it to like my videos and subscribe to my channel. And if you don't like my videos, then don't subscribe to my channel. That's not what the Troubadour's journey is about. So I hope that you do join me. I hope that you're here. I hope that as we go on this journey together, that I become a colleague of you and you become a colleague of me, and we're on this journey together. And remember, don't die with your song still in you.
Don't you die with your song